Imagine a world where money doesn't exist. Here, time itself is the only currency. Every meal, every bus ride, every bill, everything is paid using minutes and hours from your own life. And once a person reaches 25 years of age, something strange happens. Their body stops aging forever, but the moment they turn 25, a 1-year countdown appears on their arm. If that clock ever hits zero, they die instantly. The rich elite own centuries, even thousands of years. They live in luxurious time zones where nobody ages, nobody fears death. But outside those walls lies the ghetto, a broken city where poor people work endlessly just to survive the next 24 hours. One lost minute can mean losing your life. And in this harsh place lives a young man named Will Salas. Will's clock shows only 23 hours left. He lives with his mother Rachel, who looks young enough to be his sister, even though she is actually 50. That's because after 25, nobody looks older. On the morning of her birthday, Will gives her a bottle of champagne he bought using overtime hours. They laugh together, trying their best to forget the danger of living in the ghetto. Rachel tells him softly, "I want to see my grandchildren someday. Why don't you find a girl, Will?" Will smiles bitterly. "Mom, who has time for that?" But beneath that smile hides fear. Rent, electricity bills, loans, everything needs time. Rachel has only 3 days left and must pay heavy bills, which will almost wipe out all her remaining hours. Before leaving for work, she touches Will's wrist and transfers 30 minutes to him so he can buy breakfast. Then they go their separate ways. On his way, Will gives a little girl 5 minutes of his life in a capsule. In this world, people can store time in small metal capsules and transfer it with a simple touch. This is how the poor survive, sharing, borrowing, begging for seconds at AT work. Will discovers prices have suddenly doubled without warning. A cup of coffee that cost 2 minutes yesterday now costs 4. The rich manipulate prices to keep the poor desperate. That night, tired and angry, Will goes with his friend Burrell to a local bar. There they notice a strange man sitting alone, surrounded by women, drinking freely. His clock shows 116 years. No one in the ghetto ever has more than 2 days. Will realizes he must be from New Greenwich, the wealthiest time zone. Will warns him, "You shouldn't be here. People will kill you for your time." The man doesn't listen. Moments later, the bar doors slam open. A feared gangster, Fortis, enters with his crew. These men don't steal money, they steal years off people's lives. Everyone flees except Will, who hides quietly. Fortis challenges the rich man to a time fight, a deadly arm wrestle where the loser's time drains into the winner. The drunk man has no chance, so Will saves his life. He knocks out Fortis's guard, pulls the stranger out a back door, and takes him to a safe place. The man's name is Henry Hamilton, and he's lived for 105 years. Henry tells Will he's tired, not physically, but emotionally. He's seen everything, done everything, and lost the desire to keep living. Then he reveals the truth Will never knew. The system is designed to kill poor people. Prices go up on purpose. Time zones separate rich from poor. The wealthy live for centuries. The poor die early so the rich can keep living. It's population control disguised as economics. Will is shocked. Henry asks him gently, "If you had all the time I have, what would you do?" Will answers without hesitation, "I'd give my mom a better life. I'd buy her a real home. I'd make her safe." Henry smiles sadly. "Everyone deserves a long life, Will. Not just the wealthy." That night they sleep. And in the morning, Will wakes up alone. Henry is gone. Will checks his arm. 116 years added to his clock. Henry transferred his entire lifetime to Will, and left behind a message on the window. "Don't waste my time." Will runs outside and sees Henry on a bridge, sitting peacefully with only seconds left. Before Will can reach him, Henry's time hits 0. He dies instantly, falling into the water below. Will breaks down in grief. Henry didn't just give him time, he gave him responsibility. Will rushes to meet his mother at the bus stop. She needed to borrow time from him before hers ran out. But bus prices doubled again. She didn't have enough hours left, so she tried to run home. By the time Will finds her, she collapses into his arms, seconds before reaching him. She dies in front of him. Will screams in agony, holding her body tightly. The system stole Henry. Now it has stolen his mother too. Will decides he cannot live in this world anymore. He must break it. With 116 years, Will head straight to New Greenwich. Just crossing the border costs him 1 full year. When he enters, everything shocks him. People walk slowly. Nobody rushes. Everyone has hundreds of years. Even bodyguards have centuries. He checks into a luxury hotel and buys a suit and a car, all paid with time. But someone else is looking for him. Timekeepers are like police, but their job is to monitor time flow. Their leader, Raymond Leon, finds footage of Henry's final moments and sees Will nearby. He assumes Will murdered Henry and stole his years. Raymond heads to New Greenwich. Will enters a casino where rich people play poker using years instead of money. He sits at a table with the wealthiest man in the zone, Philip Weiss, owner of multiple time banks. Philip's daughter, Sylvia, watches Will closely. She's beautiful, rebellious, and fascinated by someone who's not afraid of the rich. Will gambles fearlessly. He bets all 116 years on a single game. Everyone laughs at this poor zone man pretending to be rich. But Will wins. He walks away with 1,100 years. Sylvia is stunned. Suddenly, Will is the most interesting man in the room. She invites him to a private party at her home. At the party, Will and Sylvia dance. Sylvia seems trapped in a golden cage, luxury but no freedom. Just when she's about to open up to Will, timekeeper Raymond bursts in with his officers. He accuses Will of murder, confiscates all his time, and leaves him with 2 hours. Sylvia steps back, devastated. She thinks Will is a criminal. Will is arrested. Will tells Raymond the truth. Henry gave him the time willingly. Raymond doesn't believe him, but Will knows he'll die in prison. So he fights back. He knocks out the officers, grabs Sylvia as a hostage, and escapes. They race out of New Greenwich toward the ghetto. On the way, Sylvia refuses to give Will even 1 minute. She also believes he killed Henry. But soon, an accident happens. Their car crashes into an ambush set by Fortis. Fortis steals all Sylvia's time. She's left with only 30 minutes. Will has only a few minutes himself. He gives Sylvia half of what he has. They now share equal time. And just like that, Sylvia's life is saved by the man she thought was a murderer. Will take Sylvia to his friend Burrell's house. But Burrell's wife opens the door crying. She says the 10 years Will gave Burrell earlier were spent on alcohol. Burrell drank himself to death. Sylvia finally understands the suffering of the ghetto. She realizes Will wasn't lying. Sylvia calls her father, asking him to help the poor by releasing time from the bank. He refuses. He doesn't care if Sylvia lives or dies. His greed is more important. Sylvia is heartbroken. From this moment, she chooses Will's side. Together, they become something like time bandits, stealing capsules from rich banks and distributing them to the poor. Will becomes a hero to the ghetto. The rich call him a terrorist. The government puts a 10-year bounty on both their heads. Fortis returns and captures them, but Will defeats him in a time fight. Fortis dies. Will realizes giving the poor thousands of years won't change anything. The rich will just raise prices again. So he decides to go for something bigger. Millions of years. Sylvia helps him sneak into her father Philip's vault, the largest time bank in the world. They steal a capsule containing 1 million years. 1 million years taken from the dead poor. Will and Sylvia escape with Raymond chasing them. Hourglass not done the final seconds. Raymond corners them, with only a few minutes left on his own clock. He forgot to recharge during the chase. Will reminds him, "Remember when I saved your life? You owe me time." Raymond looks at his wrist. 5 seconds left. And then, 0. Raymond collapses. Will rushes to transfer time from Raymond's salary capsule to himself, then to Sylvia. They survive. Will and Sylvia deliver the million-year capsule to the ghetto. People scream, laugh, cry. For the first time, they have time to truly live. Factories shut down permanently. Workers abandon their jobs. Everyone heads toward New Greenwich to take back their stolen future. The system begins to crumble. Rich and poor no longer live in separate worlds. And Will and Sylvia? They walk away together, towards another bank, another vault, another target. They're not done yet, because changing a world built on stolen time takes time.